Hey, check out my shadow. What's poppin', people? It's Dante observing this reflected light here. Look at how beautiful it is. I love watching the way the light reflects off of the buildings, and then essentially, yeah, just working with the shadow play. You know, there's something simple about light and shadow that I'm intrigued by, even though it may seem like this cliche sort of thing to work with in the realm of street photography. It really does become this other world when observing it, right? Where, you know, the world is the stage. Look, you can even see the shadow of the lady on the wall there as the light is piercing. And you know, there's something about the interplay between light and shadow that is really fascinating, honestly. It's essentially like stripping down to the roots of the medium of photography, which is essentially drawing with light. When you consider phos meaning light, graphia meaning writing or drawing, yeah, essentially when you're making a photograph, you're making an instant sketch of light, an instant sketch of life. And to hone in on light and shadow, wherever you may be, becomes this very simplistic way of photographing on the streets. And as cliche as it may seem, once again, you can create a new world in a fraction of a second. And I think to unlock that notion in your head and to break free from any constraints of what people deem to be good or bad in a photograph will allow you to creatively thrive. For I find that the mundane, honestly, it's the name of the game, and these very simple nuances and changes throughout the seasons, right? Where now at this time of the day the light is hitting this way, or certain times of the day the light will hit that way, and I can sit here and fish around if I'd like. I can walk by and make snapshots. I can make photographs in a variety of ways, and I think that to hone in on these different ways in which light and shadow interplay on the streets can be a great way to creatively thrive. As much as I've gone out there in the world in the past and have looked for these extravagant moments and photographed with this documentary approach and style, or if you will, or vision, I think that way of photographing has its time and place. And then there's also moments where you can find yourself sort of just lost in the details, or observing these very quiet moments where light and shadow merge and there's something there. Another idea I was thinking about today was around this notion of style versus vision and what that means. And I think we should think more so about vision as opposed to style. And I believe that when you think of style, maybe you think of light and shadow and the workings of black and white and photographing in this way. Maybe you would consider this more so of a fine art street photographic approach, right? Fine art street photography, if you will. However, for me, actually, the vision of a photographer arrives once you make more photographs over time. And I think that to hone in on the process of making pictures is what will inevitably reveal your vision. Through chipping away each and every day, slowly but surely, you will find your voice. You will find your way of seeing the world. And I think that there's a variety of ways in which you can do that. And so by tapping into the photographic process in a variety of ways, whether photographing light and shadow, photographing candid moments, you can find your voice, your vision. And I think that style isn't necessarily what we should consider as photographers. For style, you think of the aesthetic choice of color versus black and white, or working in a particular way, process, etc. But actually, the photographic journey itself, the process of making the photographs, is what will reveal your vision over time. So maybe the best way to operate is with this autotelic mindset or philosophy, where you detach from the results themselves and you simply go out there and make photographs for the sake of making photographs, detach from any notion of what is good or bad. And then over time, your curiosities will inevitably reveal your voice, your vision. And so I think that to find our vision as photographers, we must see clearly. And to see clearly, I believe we can arrive with clear vision, with sharp visual acuity, through making more photographs, with repetition, with daily practice. And you know, I think that's just generally where we want to be. And so, yeah, the moral of the story, it all comes down to just making photographs more. And yeah, that's really it. Yeah, just make more. Yeah, make more. Make more, make more. Yeah, maybe also, I photograph to see clearly. You know, I photograph to hone in on my vision. I photograph to see the world. I photograph to see.
Rico.